Here's Katasha Clausen with the Leopards News Network, live on the scene. Today we have more Latino MAGA tears, and we have some vets with regrets to who they voted for. We definitely got to get to some of these stories. It is jam-packed today. So, Unhappy Pirate says, I'm laughing at my Latino dad who voted for Trump. This person says, you guys, laughing my butt off. This feels so good. I told my dad, if Trump gets into office, his family is going to be affected by it too. His family is at risk of getting deported. But when I told him that, he said, I'm dumb. And that wasn't true because his family came in legally. Now, guess what? They are saying that the countries Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti that were allowed in the U.S. through Biden's humanitarian parole program are at risk of being deported too, even though they technically came in legally. It's just that most don't have their resident card yet, which can take years, by the way. And this makes them at risk of being deported or detained. Also, ICE isn't even trying to detain immigrants who are legal. My dad, since he became an American citizen, thought he was safe. Ha 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 ha. No, sweetheart, you're still not white. This feels amazing because he thought this would never happen. I warned them, this is what happens when you backstab La Raza. Latinos for Trump, more like Latinos for discrimination. And then the unhappy pirate says, I argued for days with him about this. He didn't believe me. Welp, there you have it. And then somebody says, well, he's a citizen, so he has nothing to worry about. Trump supporters only care about themselves, so this tracks. And then the unhappy pirate says, I agree, but his family is at risk. They are Cuban. And my dad is also brown and doesn't speak English very well. He is a trucker and is always out of town. So let's hope nobody calls ICE on him simply for the fact that he's brown and doesn't know much English. But if it happens, can't say I'm surprised. We also live in a red state, and our neighbors are white Trump supporters. I heard ICE is knocking on people's doors. Most likely it's a neighbor snitching. And then at the bottom says they've already arrested American citizens. It's easy to say they'll be released, but there's no guarantee that they will. Fascists care more about your skin color than your papers. It's kind of wild when one of your children is laughing at you. So this was a Facebook post. This says, as someone who is a Trump supporter, rather him than Harris, obviously there is things I agree with and things I don't agree with, such as ending birthright citizenship. That's something that's protected by the 14th Amendment, regardless of status of the parents. That I do hope the Supreme Court does not allow to happen once it gets to the courts. As someone who is part of the immigrant community, the raids they are doing in business and homes, that's very tough and touchy. It's scary because that could happen to me, to anyone. Getting the criminals who are out here illegally is something that I'm 100% for. The tough and sad part is that other family members are going to get caught up in the mix, including people who are here with visas, green cards, and citizens. Nothing will happen to those who are here legally, but getting stereotyped as an illegal because of how they look or because they live with one is going to be tough. I have many family members that are on both sides of this. My mom and stepdad, for example, is someone who are legal but could pass for someone who is undocumented. My mom barely knows any English, and it's not like she carries her papers everywhere she goes. But if she was to get detained, obviously I would be worried and pissed. I have family members who aren't criminals but are here undocumented. What happens to mixed families where one is here legally and one gets deported? Do they all pack up and uproot their kids who are citizens and move? It's a tough decision some families will have to make. I've had family members who in the past did have to do that, and it sucks because it affects them as US citizens. My little brother and sis were uprooted and moved to Mexico when my dad got deported. Years passed and they are back in the States, but he definitely struggled a little bit to learn English and relearn the school system. So his own dad got deported. Listen to this. I'm here on DACA, which is only a temporary protective status and barely hanging on by a thread. And this person still voted for Trump. Oh my goodness, how silly. I'm one that would be okay, I think, but now I'm worried that with all this happening when I try to renew, if it's going to slow down USCIS like it did before. All this border crisis is definitely going to affect me in the long run. I'm not regretting what party I support because obviously there's things I agree on and things I don't. The immigration part is tough considering I'm part of it, but I still rather him in office than Harris because I feel like he could turn America around. This is just going to be a tough big bump in the road. So he doesn't regret anything. So if him or his family, if his DACA status gets denied for renewal, if some of his family gets uprooted because one person gets uprooted and the rest of them have to go, he's still going to be high-fiving Trump for getting in, like, yay. Oh my goodness, the mental gymnastics of these people to be okay with this is amazing to me. This was posted in a veterans group on Facebook. I blanked out the names. So this anonymous member says, I'm starting to have buyer's remorse. I had an interview scheduled finally after 5 years of trying, and it was just rescinded. This person at the top says, buyer's remorse is wild. And then the next lady is like, child. And then the first lady is like, sis, I cackled loudly at that because what? And this person says, you got exactly what you wanted. And then this person says, totally agree. Sorry, not sorry. You were warned multiple times in multiple ways. Okay, so this top lady is just trying to get some clarity. Buyer's remorse, as in you voted for Trump. And then the anonymous person says, yes, he promised things would be better. And then the lady says, oh, how do you feel about this? And then the same person says, he lied to you the first time. Why do you think he wouldn't this time? Now, this next person I think is a man. It says, anonymous member, for God's sake, people, President Trump has only been in office less than a week. Hiring freezes almost happen with every new president, turnover in that week. The hostages are being released in a ceasefire in in Gaza. Russia is engaging with Reclaim to stop the war. Illegal aliens are being deported. Companies are investing trillions of dollars in America. We got out of climate summit. Give the president time. The jobs will come back online in a 90-day period as promised. I understand how you feel, but things don't happen overnight. I guess you could say you want to stick with Biden or Harris. You'd be a lot worse off, trust me. And then this person says, thankfully, he got rid of DEI and it's going to build that wall. So in this same thread, people are talking about how veterans are part of DEI. And I only learned that there was an A that has been added to DEI. So it's DEIA for ability. So diversity, equity, inclusion, and ability, because not everybody is the same type of, has the same type of abilities, right? And like the person who sent me these screenshots was saying, many veterans are disabled in one way or another. And that's why this person says, wait, you mean to tell me DEI could mean a white man too? Guess we got to figure out why that's a racist policy still then. And this person just kind of said, and kind of laughed. Okay, and someone sent me this screenshot saying disabled is DEI, veterans is DEI, over 40 is DEI. And then she said, I didn't state the obvious. If you're not an able-bodied, straight, cis white man under 40, you're DEI. Because some people only attribute it to women and typically colored women. But it's all about diversity of various things. How people, is diversity of bodies, is diversity of thought, is diversity of culture. But people don't think about all of that. They're just simply thinking, this is racism. Okay, so we got a few more tears before we get out of here. The anonymous member says, I feel betrayed. And then someone responded with, as you should. And someone asked, were you expecting a better job? Are you surprised? I'm curious to know what you expected. And then the anonymous member says, he said he was for the middle class and to do away with those DEI people so things would open up for us. He really thought that they were going to just eat those people's faces over there, not his own. And now his face is gone. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you laughed. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.